Well, good morning, folks. Back on the road again. Just left Birdsville. What a town. What a town. So great. You've got to come out here, guys. If you've got a capable vehicle or hire one, come on out because that town is incredible. People are fantastic. The vibe of the place is just spot on. It's the way a country town should be. But anyway, we're moving on now. Heading up to Boulia, through Baduri. There's a few places to stop along the way. A couple of old ruin sites and points of interest and things like that. Touristy stuff, they call that. Which we'll check out. Just back on the gravel now. About 30 clicks out of Birdsville, heading north to Baduri. Already the landscape is just completely flat and bare. Again, I think it's gorgeous. The vastness of this country is so overwhelming. It really makes you wonder how the early pioneers and the explorers managed to even get out here with the technology that they had, which wasn't much. You could probably couldn't even call it technology. It's just very much the basics, which is what you should bring when you come out here. Just the essentials and the basics. So a few hundred clicks to get through today. Should take about 4 and a half hours of driving, plus an hour or two of stopping and sightseeing and grabbing some lunch and all that sort of carry on. So we'll push on and check out some sights, eh? Alrighty guys, we're on Rosalie Station and this is the Kakari Ruins. Once part of the Kidman Empire. Sydney Kidman, the pastoral Lord of Australia at one point. This was a little station house they had here. In 1 year they lost 4,000 cattle. And so Kidman said, no, enough's enough. And they just abandoned it. And this is what's left. Apparently the roof was taken by the government during World War II because they needed some iron out here for something, obviously. So they decided, oh, well, we'll just take the roof of this. And this is what's left. So you can just imagine the climate out here, guys, in the 1800s, living in this stone building. It's in fantastic condition, though. Chimney there, fireplace, huge fireplace. People have all engraved their name on the sandstone, as you would, I suppose. It's always interesting to look at the dates. People have engraved stuff, so you got 83 just there. What else have we got? 89 up the top there. Hard to tell what room is what, as in its purpose back in the day, because they are just an empty shell now. Very cool. Original windows, original wooden framing. It's in fantastic condition. So you can see here, guys, the render's actually starting to come off. So these are the original stones that were used, and then the render, obviously on top, the mud render. Very cool. 1963. All these people came from Blackwall to come and have a look. Like I said, guys, sometimes the graffiti on the wall is actually quite interesting. As much as I don't like it and don't like seeing it, sometimes it sort of adds to the charm. Not all the time, just sometimes. This looks like this one, M. Rollo, 1948. Just after World War II. 76 down there. But anyway, fantastic condition, like I said. Riverbank down there, that would have been a local source of water. It would have been a tough life out here, guys, I tell you. And it really is in the middle of nowhere. I've just driven 200k and it is the only thing I've seen. Fantastic piece of Australian history. Great to see it, still standing. All right guys, let's keep moving. Just want to give you an idea of the remoteness here, guys. There's nothing for hundreds of kilometres. Boulia is 100 clicks away, but just have a look around. Absolutely nothing. Just stone after stone after stone. Desert just goes on and on and on. Which is what we're about to do. We're going to keep on keeping on. The wind here is absolutely insane, so apologies for that. But since it's such a big open area, there's not much I can do. The wind just howls through here constantly. Just thought you might want to check that out, guys, because I find that amazing. Nothing for miles and miles and miles and miles. Alright, let's keep moving. Just came across another billabong here. This is Cudaboro Crossing, just off the highway. Nice little rest area. And someone decided they didn't want their old truck anymore. And nature has taken it over again. Obviously before it was let go of by its previous owner, they used it for a bit of target practice with the old rifle. Very cool. Yeah, just a nice little stop area here, guys. Nothing fancy, but a nice little billabong. So like I was saying, guys, a lot of people think there's nothing out here, but there's plenty of things to check out here. One's on the left is where we've just come from, Birdsville obviously, making our way back, and then we're heading towards the Hutcherson Monument, and then Windora turnoff, which is just a turnoff obviously. Kakari Crossing, and the hot artesian spa is meant to be pretty amazing, so we might have a look in there. And Boulia is where the artesian spa is. So our end goal for today, Boulia, isn't actually listed on there, but we'll see how we go for time anyway. We're not quite sure where I'm going to end up tonight. Alrighty. Just thought I'd quickly show you this, guys. This is the snakes that visit this area or live in this area. Now, some are venomous, some are not. I like to keep away from all of them if I can. Now, one that's very well known in Queensland is the eastern brown, which is dangerously venomous. You can die from it. The inland taipan, that is the one you really need to look out for. This guy right here is the most dangerous land snake in the world. Now, he only lives in this corner of Queensland, where I am now, and it's a very quiet snake. Now, it just sort of waits for you, essentially. It won't come to you, it'll wait till you walk past it. So you're going to be pretty unlucky to get done by him. Touch wood that I don't get done by him. But yeah, that one, the eastern brown, the speckled brown snake is also rather bad. And as is the strap-snouted brown snake. So you want to be hopefully near a hospital if you do get bitten by one. But the idea obviously, guys, is to not get bitten by one. And if you see one, just let it do its thing. It'll probably walk away from you. There's no point trying to chase it or anything like that. You're just going to upset it and then you'll end up getting bitten. If you don't have a snake bite kit, or you're not anywhere near a hospital or anywhere with reception to call in a helicopter to get you out, you're going to be in serious trouble. So best to leave them alone. Know about them, but leave them alone. And touch wood, I don't have to deal with any of these over the next little while. This here is the Will Hutcherson Memorial. Now, many Australians won't know this, but Will Hutcherson essentially founded Cooper Pedy when he was 14 years old. He was out on a gold exploration party and found opal instead of gold, and reported it, obviously, and so became the birth of Cooper Pedy in South Australia. Now, the reason the monument is here is because 6 years later he was up here working for Sidney Kidman, the pastoral baron, I suppose you'd call him, droving some cattle, and one afternoon he went for a swim in the creek just nearby over there and drowned. So they put the monument here next to the main highway so people and travellers can stop and know the story about old Will Hutcherson. Only 20 years old, founded an entire town that now has over 3,000 people in it. Little did he know that his baby opal that he found would create such a stir and essentially start a new city in the Outback. Just something I wanted to show you. About 40-50k out of Boulia now, and we're back in sand dune country. Going up and over all the sand dunes. Absolutely amazing. The colours in them are fantastic. Here we go, coming up through another one. Big kestrel flying over the top there. Hopefully you can see him in the footage. There he is, up there. And just rolling sand dunes now, guys. So we went from the stony, arid desert straight into these rolling sand dunes. And they go on for a few kilometres, which is pretty amazing. And obviously constantly shifting in the wind. So they're never usually the same, 2 days in a row. Very cool. Just thought I'd share that with you as we're coming into Boulia. Just rolling into the town of Boulia. Population of about 140, 142 I think was the last count. Might be time for a quick lunch in a schooner. We'll do a drive through first though, have a look, see what it's all about. Nice little town. Looks like some original buildings over there, maybe a hospital. Big community centre just here. And that's about it, guys. Keep going straight there and we end up at Boulia. So we might spin around, grab a quick feed and a schooner, I reckon. Well guys, it's not a hospital. It's what they call the mud hut, because that's essentially what it's made of. It was built in 1880, literally of mud and wood and rock. And you have to actually duck down underneath the awning here, because obviously people weren't as tall as they are nowadays. This was the only building in Boulia with the pub in the 1880s. Boulia back then was just a drover's stop essentially, so that as they pushed their cattle from Queensland down to Adelaide to the markets. And once again, another building that eventually was owned by Sidney Kidman. Like I said, Sydney owned most of Australia at one point. They also believe it also might have been a Cobb and Co station at one point, because they found a dead horse in one of the rooms here, buried in one of the rooms, and there's a trough right down the back that you can no longer get to. So they think it might have also been a Cobb and Co stopover. Very cool though, guys. 1880s. What a hard life that would have been back then. Alright, let's go get a beer, eh? Boulia Hotel. Alrighty folks, we've just left Boulia, just crossed the grid onto Sandringham Station. Another large station out here. Just wanted to bring your attention to the stones. And, well, it's kind of obvious why they call it the Stony Desert, isn't it? And it just goes on and on and on. There's some sand dunes off into the distance, but they're few and far between now. It's definitely mostly just stones and more stones now, it seems. I'm certainly glad that they've paved this road and it's no longer a stony dirt road, because they'd probably go through a few tyres going over that stuff, I tell you. There we go, folks. Now officially in the Tropic of Capricorn. We are now in the tropics, believe it or not. I don't blame you if you don't believe it. Have a go at that. Not a tree in sight. Alrighty folks, we're not far from Boulia, which is halfway between Badawi and Mount Isa. Probably about 5k out. Now, what makes Boulia famous is the Min Min lights. Now, what are Min Min lights? I hear you say. Min Min lights are, well, some people reckon they know what they are. I don't think anyone really knows what it is. Scientists think they do. Basically, it's lights in the sky at night. So, not quite like the Northern Lights. It's more of a, coloured sort of dotty type light, I reckon. So there's an encounter centre, or like an information thing about it, obviously in town. So we'll go hit that up, see if we can find out where the best place to go to maybe try and see it is. I don't know if it happens every night or if it's a once a year type thing or just randomly. I got no idea. But I reckon we can find out together. Maybe go look for them if they're going to be happening. And just check out the town. It's a Friday night, so we'll see how busy it is. There might be a couple of stockmen and drovers and things in town. It is mustering season. So all the stations are hard at work at the moment, mustering their cattle and getting them on trucks and shipped off and all that sort of thing. So it might be pretty busy in town. We'll soon find out. But we're about 5k out or so, and we'll check in again when we get into town and find somewhere to kip. About 5k out now, so we'll check back in when we get into town. See if we can find some Min Min lights. Alright guys, see you soon. So the water tank here in Boulia isn't big enough to really paint like the one in Thargomindah. So they decided to paint their aquatic sports centre instead. What we've got here is a classic Outback mustering scene going on here, wrangling up some cattle on what looks like a glorious sunset. Very, very well done. These murals are almost in every town, guys. You should always try and see if you can hunt them down and check them out. Absolutely glorious. Absolutely glorious sunset here tonight. Windmill, the water tank, absolutely stunning.